go to the next one. Alabama over Ole Miss, and a little bit of a handle situation. Ole Miss didn't look great. They couldn't get the run game going. They never really looked like they had anything going. Dart wasn't able to hit the deep passes that really would have opened up the Alabama defense. Alabama looks good. They still look good. Even after a loss to Texas, people were questioning them a ton. They're still there, man. I still think they're the favorite in the West. They could still make the playoff even. I think the big one for me is the offense still didn't look great, and that's not a very good Ole Miss defense, right? Like, what do they have to do at this point? Like, Milroe's obviously the best option in order to improve themselves so they can not only win the West here, but that they can have a chance at a playoff and maybe winning a playoff game, right? Like, what's next?
I wish I knew, but I don't think it's going to turn around for them. The one spotlight I thought Alabama showed was McClellan got to 100 yards. I thought that showed a little bit of promise. I think that this team is going to need to rely on him more as the season goes down the line and we start getting into more tougher games in November and October. But I just don't. I think this team's also going to have to use Milroe, like to go north and south more. Like he's going to have more design runs and kind of keep him from making too many decisions. I think you need to simplify the playbook a little bit for him and make simpler decisions and use what's good for him. I thought Dallas Turner played fantastic. I think he's a top 5 defensive guy in college football. Defense, like you said, JP, is awesome. I was really high on Ole Miss's offense, and they looked kind of invisible in that second half. So when you have a defense like that, Alabama's going to be in contention, but I don't know. I don't know if I trust Milroe down the stretch when things are really going to turn up here. So
I think A&M looks like a bad matchup for them, if I'm being honest. Like, I don't know how bad of a matchup LSU could be because they still struggle defensively. But when you put yourself in a spot where A&M has a really good defensive front, they have a good defense. They also now have, you would assume Wegman comes back, even with Max Johnson, they have shown the ability to run the football. They've shown the ability to stretch the passing game. That's a bad matchup now. Like, when your offensive line with Alabama is that bad, it really puts a fork in the road. And obviously that's not happening this week, but it's going to be down the road. But I think you need to look at the big picture when they already have a loss, right? And it's not an SEC loss, but a second loss you can almost say puts you out of. I take that back. I still kind of think there might be a 2-loss team.
You say that. I say it. If they get to 2, they're out. They're out. I'm counting it right now.
I think there's a real possibility you can get a 2-loss team in still. I really do. And it just depends on what happens everywhere else, and we'll see as we go. But it kind of feels like we're moving that direction with this. Many good teams have 1 loss already, and the amount of teams that still have to play each other and then play 3 other really good teams, top-end teams. 2 losses doesn't seem that crazy. Parks, are you on my side with this? Or no?
Are you talking about the playoff thing? Because, yeah, I'm on your side. I think a 2-loss team could make it. I think this is the most wide-open college football's ever been. I haven't seen complete dominance out of any team. You can't judge Georgia or Michigan yet, but I just haven't seen it enough to not think that. I mean, I was kind of taken back last week when somebody had mentioned that it could 11-1 Notre Dame make it. Why not?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
It's going to be tough. It's just a conference thing.
Yeah.
A 3-point last play loss to Ohio State would kick you out. I would be shocked and appalled.
I think you would need Ohio State to be in as well. I think you need Ohio State to at least play for. They either need to be 11-1 and just miss the Big Ten title, or they need to be in it.
Okay, that's fair.
Win it.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, no, it's wide open. I think you're good.
Yeah, again, like we'll see Ole Miss this weekend again in a game we'll talk about. I think that is going to be this is going to tell us a lot about both teams when they play LSU. Alabama, I think we're still we're waiting to see if we'll get anything bigger. Parks, what?
I think you got to let Reese mention his helmet sticker went out to the Alabama defense. So Reese, that was a good week for the Alabama D. They could take him to the SEC West title.
I did mention that. Yeah, their defense played extremely well. I mean, holding that Lane Kiffin offense to I think the least amount of points he's ever scored since he's been at Ole Miss. So it's pretty impressive. Because everybody was high, like this is the time Ole Miss can do it. This is the time they're going to do it, and they left no doubt that they were not going to let that happen. So
I'm going to assume Vegas had a good day on that one. I don't know exactly what the handle was on the betting market, but I'm going to assume they had a good day, and I think they had kind of lucked out when Ohio State covered or pushed the 3 too.
And they had a
lot
day.
Of people were on Notre Dame.
All the Colorado riders. I mean, Vegas had a day.
Yeah. Vegas tends to have a lot of days.
Not for
but
me.
That might have been the biggest
Those
day.
bastards. Yeah, who are you talking about? They really needed it.
No, Shaver, did you just shake your head and say not
Not
me?
for me. They didn't get their money from me.
Oh my god!
Favorite
Didn't
hot,
get their
baby.
money from me.
They
Circus
profited $30
Circus-
billion and served out $35. They got
Was not able to heat their pool anymore. Schaefer took too much money from them.
I just took
Over to
somebody's
Utah,
dinner away from their
UCLA.
child.